John Cowan, Dr. John Cowan. He's virtual too. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, distinguished senators. I'm John Cowan out of Rome, Georgia. Thank you for letting me come in via Zoom. I am the new chair of U.S. term limits for the state of Georgia. And I have been in that group of 80% of Georgians who support the concept of term limits, but didn't really understand as much of it as I needed to. And so it's caused me to go back and read a lot from the framers and founders. And one thing I found out is there are actually 4 co-equal branches of our government. When they've referred to co-equal branches, they also included, despite in addition to executive, judicial, and legislative, the collective state legislatures were considered a co-equal branch and referred to such. And Article 5 was put in for that reason, that we could serve as a check and balance on an out-of-control federal government. And what this proposal does, that Senator Cowsert has described so eloquently, and both of them do, is it serves as a check and balance on our federal government and says, listen, if you guys can't get your act together, and I think we would all agree that they are broken, the states will propose amendments to the Constitution to try to rectify it. And as one of the senators pointed out, there certainly are unintended consequences and things, when you pass legislation, that there are downsides to, and maybe unintended consequences. And that's why we don't just meet one time every 10 years. We continue to meet and rectify those things. I would say in Congress, as someone who ran for Congress, I would say that we need more citizen servant leaders to go up there and at least give it a go. We may not be an expert at it, and it may require 2 or 3 terms to become proficient in it. But I do think if we set new ground rules that say, look, you can't be up there more than 12 years in Congress consecutively, that people are smart enough to figure out that we need to frame and restructure the federal government so that that can be done effectively, so that we don't have to have someone with 20 years of knowledge in order to know where the bathrooms are. We should not have a federal government that is that complicated, that folks such as yourselves in the room who are educated, who read, who actually want to explore new ways of forming a more perfect union, can't get up there and serve the people. And so I would dismiss an argument that it requires someone being up there 20 to 30 years in order to be an effective legislature. I would also say that Ben Franklin provided a great mechanism for term limits in the original Pennsylvania Constitution, state constitution. And that was one where people could serve a certain number of terms consecutively, but then would have to sit out an equal amount of terms. And so that is one thing that very smart people or potential delegates to this convention would consider, that maybe you go serve 8 consecutive terms as a U.S. congressman, and then you have to sit out 4, but you could then run again. So I think there are ways to assuage the issue of loss of intellectual knowledge or someone who really is gifted in this role, allowing them to continue to serve throughout a life course, but not become so entrenched to the point that we are really run in the House and Senate by oligarchs. And that's essentially what we have now. This is an opportunity for the state of Georgia to join 19 to 20 other states at this moment to say we want to have a serious discussion on how we can reform our federal government.
Dr. Cowan,
One final point, as a dove hunter, I prefer to hunt with a shotgun and not a rifle. So I think the more of the potential amendments, conventions that we can call, probably the better off we are in reforming a broken system.
Okay, thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Okay.